Picture this, it's 2 a.m. Dead quiet in our little Tucson suburb when a scream rips through the night. Our HOA queen bee, Linda Grayson, just got zapped by 15,000 volts, her designer nails sparking against my granddad's electrified fence. Her shriek could have woken the coyotes, and let me tell you, it was the sound of justice after months of her trying to bulldoze our family's legacy. I'm Jake Carter, and this is the story of how my 74-year-old granddad Ray, a retired electrical whiz with a heart of steel and a knack for wiring, turned the tables on a power-hungry real estate shark who thought she could run us out of our home. It all kicked off last spring when I moved in with Granddad Ray in Tucson, Arizona. He'd just had hip surgery, and with his knees acting up, he needed a hand around the place. Now, Ray's not your average grandpa, sharp as a tack, spent his career designing security systems for banks and government buildings, the kind of guy who could rig a toaster to send emails if he wanted. His pride and joy. A backyard cactus garden, every prickly pear and saguaro, a tribute to my Grandma Ellen who passed 6 years back. That garden wasn't just plants, it was her sole crossbred variety so rare they had been written up in desert botany journals. Our house, a cozy single story with faded stucco, held 50 years of memories. The creaky porch swing where Grandma taught me to whistle, the garage workbench where Ray tinkered with gadgets that ended up in patents. It was home, the kind no money could replace. Trouble started with a letter from Desert Horizon Realty offering 3 times what the house was worth. Ray read it, chuckled, and tossed it in the trash. "Not for sale, kid," he said, sipping his black coffee. I didn't get it then, but that was the opening shot in a war we didn't see coming. A week later, the HOA newsletter dropped announcing Linda Grayson as the new president. She was a real estate agent with a smile like a used car salesman and eyes that sized you up like a foreclosure. I met her at the mailboxes where she swooped in all teeth and perfume. "You must be Ray's grandson, Jake. I'm Linda, here to make this neighborhood the gem of Tucson. Higher property values, better standards, you know." Her glance at our house screamed trouble, and the neighborhood improvement plan she handed me felt like a warning. The first HOA meeting was a circus. Linda stood at the podium preaching about modernization and uniformity, then threw up a slide of our house like it was a crime scene. "The Carter property violates 9 bylaws, non-compliant fence, unapproved garden structures, outdated paint. It's dragging us down." I wanted to yell, but Ray grabbed my arm. "Easy, Jake. Let her show her cards." On the way home, I was fuming. She'd humiliated us in front of 50 neighbors. Ray just squinted, thoughtful. "There's something about her. I've seen that face before." Next morning, a violation notice slid under our door: fix 10 infractions in 7 days or face $300 daily fines. That night, I caught a shadow spray painting non-compliant on our fence. By the time I got outside, they were gone, but the message was clear. Ray started digging through old files in the garage, and after hours of dust and coffee, he found a photo from the 90s. A group of engineers on a job site. He pointed to a young woman in the corner. "Lisa Grayson, that's her." Turns out Linda was Lisa, who'd changed her name after a messy divorce. Back in '97, she and Ray went head-to-head for a city engineering contract. Ray found her blueprints for a downtown high-rise where a disaster shoddy math on the support beams that could have collapsed the building. He reported it not to screw her over, but to save lives. She lost the gig, her career tanked, and she never forgave him. "She's got a score to settle, Jake Ray," said, his voice heavy. "And she's not alone." I hit the county records and found the real kicker: our property was the only access point to a massive plot owned by Desert Horizon. Without our land, their shiny new mall was dead in the water. Linda wasn't just nursing a grudge, she was the tip of a corporate spear using the HOA to squeeze us out. She upped the ante with an emergency inspection, strutting onto our property with a clipboard and a posse, snapping photos of the cactus garden like it was evidence in a murder trial. Ray's cameras caught her disabling one of our security feeds, sneaky professional. 2 days later, a new violation notice hit claiming 20 infractions, $2,000 a day in fines. It was war. The worst came at midnight a week later. Our cameras caught Linda sneaking into the backyard, a spray bottle in hand. Before Ray could hobble out, she doused half the cactus garden with some chemical. By morning, Grandma's prized saguaros were shriveled black and oozing a lifetime's work gone in minutes. I found Ray sitting there staring at the wreckage, his hands shaking. "Ellen poured her heart into these," he whispered. "Linda's gonna pay Jake, not with anger, with smarts." That's when Ray went full engineer mode, sketching plans for what he called the Persuader and Electric Fence. Legal, non-lethal, just enough juice to make a point. He wasn't out for blood, just a lesson she'd never forget. We got help from unexpected places. Mrs. Delgado, a retired librarian down the street, tipped us off that Linda was buying up properties through shell companies tied to Desert Horizon. Then Sarah Miles, an HOA board member, showed up at our door, nervous. "I'm not just HOA Jake. I'm with the state's real estate fraud unit undercover. Linda's dirty money laundering, fake permits, the works." Sarah gave us a recording of Linda bragging to a Desert Horizon exec, Paul Whitaker, about breaking the old man within weeks. Ray, meanwhile, played the frail grandpa card, shuffling slower, looking confused when Linda spied on us through binoculars. Behind the scenes, he was wiring the fence, hiding cameras in flower pots, and rigging motion-activated sprinklers. "It's not about revenge," he told me, tweaking a circuit board. "It's about protecting what's ours." The trap sprang on a moonless night. Sarah warned us Linda was coming with two goons, a crooked city inspector named Greg and a hired muscle called Tony. Their plan: plant fake evidence of structural hazards to condemn the house. At 1 a.m., our alarms pinged. Cameras showed Linda with a folder of forged documents, Greg with a measuring tape, Tony hauling a ladder. Tony tested the fence, Ray left it off, letting him think it was a bluff. "All clear," Tony hissed. Linda climbed, smirking, into her phone. "Paul, I'm in, the old geezer's done." Ray hit the switch, a hum of flash, and Linda lit up like a bad Christmas tree, yelping as she flopped onto the grass hair like a porcupine. Floodlights blazed, sprinklers soaked her, and neighbors' lights flicked on phones, out filming the HOA tyrant's downfall. Linda scrambled up screaming about lawsuits, but Ray strolled onto the porch, cool as ice. "You know the rules, Lisa. Trespassing's a bold move when the signs say electric fence." She called the cops claiming assault, but our 16 cameras had every angle: her sneaking in, her phone call, her goons bolting. The police showed up skeptical. I laid it out lawyer-style: "Officers, we've got video of Ms. Grayson poisoning our garden last week, plus audio of her planning to frame us tonight." A tech confirmed the fence was legal, just a stiff jolt. Then Mrs. Delgado and half the block chimed in, spilling years of Linda's bullying, fines for mailboxes, threats over lawn ornaments. Sarah dropped the bomb, playing Linda's recorded boasts about rigging the HOA. Linda's face went gray, her empire crumbling as the cuffs came out. But Linda wasn't done. A week later, she called an emergency HOA meeting, pushing to seize our house under some dusty bylaw about community hazards. She stood there all polish and lies, calling Ray a danger to kids with his death trap fence. I stood up, hooked my laptop to the projector, and tore her case apart. Photos proving her violations were fake timestamps, showing she'd backdated rules to target us, footage of her killing the cactuses. Sarah took the mic, outing herself as a fraud investigator, and played Linda's deal with Desert Horizon for all to hear. Ray spoke, last voice steady. "Years ago, I stopped Lisa Grayson from building a tower that could have killed hundreds. I gave her a chance to walk away. She chose this instead." The room erupted. Neighbors voted Linda out, and Paul Whitaker's last-ditch offer, 4 times market value, got a hard no from Ray. "This is Ellen's home," he said. "No price tag on that." Linda's final swing came at 3 a.m. a month later. Cameras caught her creeping up with a gas can ready to torch the place. Ray, predicting her desperation, had tipped off the cops. Sprinklers doused her alarm, screamed, and she slipped in the mud gas, soaking her blazer. Police nabbed her, finding a USB in her pocket, Desert Horizon's whole playbook from bribes to money laundering. Linda thought it was her leverage. It became her undoing. She's facing arson, fraud, and a dozen other charges now, while Desert Horizon's execs are dodging subpoenas. The neighborhood, it's healing. We turned their land into a community garden and Ray's funding a cactus preservation grant in Ellen's name. Me. I'm staying in Tucson fighting HOA scams as a lawyer. Last week, I found Ray in the garden at dusk, a new saguaro blooming where Linda's poison hit hardest. He held Ellen's photo, smiling. She'd have loved seeing Lisa eat dirt, he said, chuckling. I asked if he ever regretted not taking the millions. He looked at the desert sky, then back at me. Jake Holmes, not about cash, it's about roots, love, and standing your ground. We fought for that, and we won. Justice isn't always courtrooms and gavels. Sometimes it's a well-timed shock, a stubborn old man, and a garden that refuses to die. So what do you think? Did Linda get what she deserved, or did we push too far? Drop your thoughts below. Share your own HOA nightmares, and let's talk about what justice really means in a neighborhood like ours. Hit that subscribe button if you're with us, and let's keep these stories alive.